So we're gonna show you how to set up for a 1v1 match. To get it started for 1v1 match, you kind of have to have a deck that's built from 20 to 30 cards in your main deck. This includes the 3 will you start off with for each champion. Since it's a 1v1, 3 will. You have up to 5 cards in your inventory. This can be weapons, potions, and a stone card if you have them, or even union cards. And then of course you need your champion. Basically the point of the game is to reduce your opponent's champion's HP down to 0, and then you would win the game. So for this game, we have this all set up. He has it set up. We already flipped the coin. I'm gonna go first. So for the beginning turn, I'm drawing up to 5 cards. For demonstration purposes, I am going to show all my cards, just so you get an idea of what I would do in a normal setting. So to play this game, a lot of skills that you're going to be using requires what's called a will cost. For example, here, this mountain strength, it costs 5 will costs to actually be able to play this card. To be able to gain resources, which is our will of the universe, we have to actually play these in these activity zones, which is up top. As you notice, there's 5 different spots. Each turn, I could basically play up to 5 cards, unless I am able to take one off. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate those so I can bring those to my will zone. Next, I have here what's called defensive skill, which is roll. Roll allows me to evade either an offensive range or an offensive spell card. The way defensive skills are placed is you have to place them face down, and if your opponent uses one of those things to activate it, you can activate it on their turn. Next, I have 2 cards that I'm not going to use or don't have a reason to use them at this point in time. So to be able to draw more cards, one thing I could do is just put them face down. This works as kind of like a bluff, because your opponent probably doesn't know that that's going to be a spell or something you're trying to get rid of your hand. They might think it's a defensive, but I want to get rid of it so I can draw more cards next turn. Now, if I do want to keep one, I will just keep this in my hand. And for this example, I will keep this face down so they won't know what I'm using this. Now, finally, in the very first couple of turns of the round, which is where both champions go, only the very last champion in the round can attack. So in this case, I won't be able to use what's called my action phase to attack my opponent. However, I have to be wary because he's the last champion to go, or this is the last champion to go, so they would be able to attack me. So since I can't attack, one thing I like to do is go ahead and equip a weapon. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and equip my champion, Lamorak, with the Battle Great Axe. Now, the reason I'm able to use this equipment is because Lamorak is an SS champion, and this is an A prerequisite. So he's within the limits to actually go there. Our ranking system goes from a B to an A, from an A to an S, to a double S, to an S3. And since an SS is higher than an A, he can equip this weapon. Next, there's also a matching restrictions on the bottom. For Lamorak, he has a matching restriction for Tactician, so he's able to actually use this card. Now, because I have it equipped, he gains all his stats from there as well, which is the 15 attack and the 2 extra striking skills. Each weapon also comes with an effect. I'm gonna go ahead and equip him with this, and now I just boost his attack. And since I have nothing else I could do for my turn, I'm gonna go ahead and end my turn and pass over to my opponent.
All right, for my turn, I do the same thing. For the beginning of the turn, I'm going to draw 5 cards. And I'll show you my 5 cards as well. I'm going to activate Will, so that way at the end of the turn, it will go to my resource pool, the Will Zone. I'm going to place 2 skills face down. Again, it's the first round So I can technically attack my opponent since I'm the last champion to act this round. However, I'm going to access my inventory to equip Abigail with a weapon. I will equip Abigail with the battle shield. And just like my opponent's champion, Abigail is able to equip this battle shield because Abigail is an S rank champion and the battle shield is an A rank weapon. Also, the restrictions on the weapon match Abigail's class, so Abigail is able to equip the weapon. To end my turn, I will put one card face down and I'll pass to my opponent. At the end of my turn, every card that I've activated in my activity zone will move from the activity area. So will be moved to the will zone. And then I will pass to my opponent.
Thank you. So beginning a normal turn goes in this order. Any will that I played, I would get that immediately back. So say I use activated a card and it's here, you only get this back at the beginning of your turn. Next, if I had any card in cooldown, they would move over. This is because since Lemrak is my lead champion, the champion the furthest left, every time his turn comes up in the beginning, I move a card for a cooldown zone by 1. So 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1, and 1 to the library. Finally, I have to deal with this clearing phase, which is basically my activity zone going away. Now, if I want to keep a card on the field to use for a future use, say I want to use roll for a later time and keep it on the field, what I have to do is I have to sacrifice one of my will and place it on here. This is what's called charging or storing a card. Next, if I don't want to keep a card on the field, like this Mountain Strength, then I will have to put it to the corresponding cooldown count or CC, which is 3 for this card. So I put it in the matching zone. After that, we can begin our turn like normal as always. So I have 1 card in my hand. You're always going to draw up to 5 cards. So for this one, I would draw 4. Now, just because you have 5 cards in your hand, if you start your turn, doesn't mean you won't be able to draw a card. You can draw still 1 card, but you always try to draw up to 5. So like before I said, I'm going to go ahead and show you what my cards look like, just for demonstration purposes. So I got another will. Luck is favoring me. So I'm going to go ahead and activate that will so I can move it to my will zone to use for a later time. I also have another defensive skill, but this one's a little bit different. This is called a charge block, which is one of the charge skills that you can have in this game. To be able to use this, I have to basically do the process of what I had for here by charging this card with a will. And then once I meet the charge will on there, I can activate it by paying the other will cost for it. So I have to have 2 of these will to charge it. And then I pay 3 will after I have those charges to be able to use this skill. Since it's defensive and I have to charge it, I'm gonna go ahead and put this card face down. Now, I also have another attack, which is Mirage Attack, which that costs 5 will to be able to use this. Unfortunately, I do not have enough will to be able to use this card, so I'm gonna go ahead and just hold onto this card for a later use. Now I have 2 different cards that's still in my hand. One is an Ion Spell. Now, these are very powerful, but they do have a will cost of 5, so I can't use it. But if I put it down on the field face down, I might have a chance that I can't use it again because it's a 1 TU. This is a little bit different than a cooldown counter because 1 TUs will go away and I won't be able to pick it up without a certain skill or anything like that. So I'm gonna hold on to this card as well. And then finally, I'm gonna just get rid of this mouse string so I can be able to draw more cards for my later turn. Now, since I'm ending my turn this way, I'm gonna go ahead and announce that to my opponent that I'm ending my turn. And any card that I did play face up, like this will, I will move it to my will zone. and I'll go over to you.
Great. Again, we'll start my turn by accessing my use will. It's going to return to my will zone. As my opponent demonstrated, if I had will in my use will zone, it would move over to my will zone. If I had cards in my cooldown counter, they would move over by 1. And next, I decide if I want to keep the cards in my activity zone. I will charge this card so it remains on the field this turn. I will not charge this card. This card has a CC of 1, so it moves to the cooldown zone 1. This card is an ally card. Ally cards and strategy cards cannot be charged, so this card will move over to the use card zone because it is 1 TU, and that's 1 turn use. Finally, I have 1 card in my hand, so I will draw 4 cards. So my hand size equals 5. Next, I will play 2 will. I will change Abigail's weapon from the battle shield to a Santewa. In this game, each subclass has a baked-in effect. Abigail is a sword saint. When Abigail equips a weapon, she can attack on the same turn. I will check my will. I only have 3, so I can't activate any of my actions this turn. I have a fireball that takes 5 will. I have a strategy card, and I have a defensive card. I will place my defensive card face down, and I will end my turn there.
Awesome.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?